All right, let's talk about something called emotional Aikido. You know those moments when things get heated? This is a totally different way to handle that pressure. It's not about fighting back. It's about using stillness, believe it or not, to come out on top. So let's get right into it.
So let's kick this off with an idea that might feel, well, a little backwards. Think about it. When a situation gets tense, what's our first instinct, right? We get louder, we talk faster, we get more aggressive. But what if I told you the real power, the superpower, is actually in doing the exact opposite? What if it's all about being quiet, totally calm, and just present?
And this quote, this is where things get really fascinating. See, there's actual science to this. When you stay completely calm while someone else is losing it, you completely flip the script on them. It's so not what they're expecting that your stillness, your calm, can actually set off their brain's alarm system. We're talking about their amygdala. You're basically causing a little amygdala hijack in them, not in you. How wild is that?
Yeah, this really breaks it down, doesn't it? This is the shift we're all trying to make. On the left, you've got noise. That's instant reactions, losing your cool. And on the right, you've got presence, thoughtful responses, total composure. The big question is, how do we get from that left column over to the right? Let's figure it out.
Okay, so to get a handle on our reactions, we've got to understand where they come from in the first place. And the truth is, our brains, they're kind of running on some seriously ancient software. I mean, think about it. Our brains are basically wired for the Stone Age. They're designed to handle a saber-toothed tiger jumping out at you. And for that software is fantastic. But here's the problem. That same software doesn't know the difference between a real tiger and, say, a tense meeting with your boss. To your brain, they're both life or death threats. And here's the main culprit, the amygdala. You can think of it as your brain's own personal primal alarm. It's like a ridiculously sensitive smoke detector. The second it senses even a whiff of danger, real or imagined, bam! It floods your system with stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, the whole works. And it does all this before your logical brain can even ask, hey, wait a minute, is this really a big deal?
And this is the real problem, right here. When that primal alarm goes off, it's a code red. Everything else gets shut down. That smart, rational decision-making part of your brain, let's call it the CEO in your prefrontal cortex, gets completely shoved aside. You literally can't think straight or be strategic because your brain has already decided it's time to either fight or run for your life, not figure out a project deadline.
Okay, so if we're all walking around with this ancient, overreactive hardware, what are we supposed to do about it? Well, we can't exactly rewrite our brain's code, but what we can do is install some really powerful new tools to manage it. So let's open up your Emotional Aikido toolkit.
This is your three-step move to take back control, and it's surprisingly simple. First up is your breath weapon. You just breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for 7, and then breathe out slowly for 8. This is like a direct hack into your nervous system to calm it down. Step 2, the power pose. Seriously, just stand tall, put your hands on your hips. It sounds crazy, but this physical pose actually tells your brain to chill out and lower stress hormones. And then, step 3, this is the real secret sauce, strategic silence. Just create a pause, a 3-second pause before you say anything at all.
All right, this is where it all comes together. Because look, you've just managed your own reaction, which is huge. But the real magic of this whole emotional Aikido thing, that happens when you see what your newfound stillness does to the other person.
Yeah. So what is the effect on them? Because remember, this isn't just about keeping your own cool. This is a strategic move. It's about fundamentally changing the power dynamic of the entire conversation. It's how you win, but without ever having to raise your voice.
Think about it from their side. Someone who's being aggressive expects one of two things, for you to fight back or for you to back down. When you do neither, when you just stand there, totally calm, totally present, after that 3-second pause, you just completely shatter their expectations. You break their script. That silence, it creates this vacuum, and people hate vacuums. So what do? They rush to fill it, and in doing so, they often reveal their own insecurity, their own weak spots. They showed up looking for a fight, but instead, you just hold up a mirror, and for them, that is incredibly unsettling.
And that is why this is called Emotional Aikido. It's just like the martial art, right? You're not trying to block their force with your own force. No. You're taking all their aggressive energy, all their momentum, and with your stillness, you just gracefully step aside and let it all blow right past you. And what happens? They're the ones who end up off balance. It's elegant, it's efficient, and it is just so powerful.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway?
It's that real power, true strength, isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being the calmest presence. You now have the toolkit to override that old Stone Age software in your brain and turn peer pressure into pure poise. So I'll leave you with this one question. In your next tense conversation, who's going to be the calm one?